So now we're on the Polaris stand, and Ed is one of Polaris dealers. So it's nice to meet you.
Thank you, Angie.
What can you tell us about Polaris?
So Polaris are an American off-road vehicle manufacturer amongst various other power sports industry, but one of the largest for side-by-side, both in sports and utility ATVs and various other accessories to go alongside it.
Right, okay. So what would you say your market is?
Our market varies massively from your day-to-day farm worker who then wants to go out and fun on the weekend, something like this, or guys who want to do a big rally like the Dakar.
Right, okay. So obviously we're standing next to this. What is it? What's in it?
This is the newest from Polaris. It's the first one in the UK.
Right.
So this is the Polaris Pro R, which has made a massive leap from this machine here, which was 1000cc turbo, to this one, which is now a 2000cc full cylinder engine.
A 2 litre?
2 litre engine.
Right, okay.
And they're only 900 odd kilos. It's a lot of power to weight ratio.
Absolutely. So what would something like this cost you?
This one is the very top spec, around about 40,000 plus VAT.
Okay, and the big question, in the UK, where can you use it?
So for this, it's really designed as a proper race vehicle.
Right, okay.
The one behind me here, the Pro XP,
yep.
That's more for guys who want to go out and do a bit of green laning or perhaps a bit of racing, but that is an out-and-out race car.
Right, okay. Well, fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
This is my beautiful ride then, the Benelli Leoncino 800 Trail. I've rid the Leoncino 502. Quite a nice little bike. Right, now well. Let's fit in, comfy seat. Bars probably could do have been a bit further back for me, a bit of a stretch for me, but it's a nice upright position. You know, these low revs, pretty much an idle, it's fairly smooth. Nice smooth gear change. Clutch is fairly light. That pulls quite nicely, it does. Above 6,000, that goes quite well. See, quite clear in the mirrors, which is good. Just a little bit of arm, not too much. 50 mile an hour, and it's lovely and smooth, just under 4,000. Brakes work really well. Suspension is nice, it's not too soft, not too hard. Plenty of torque at the low revs. say, it's comfortable and as well it's got plenty of torque in the low end. Yeah, I mean the engine's lovely and smooth, it's not vibey at all. It's fairly flickable, it's not too heavy. A little bit of bar input helps from side to side. Bit of counter steer. Fourth gear, 2,500 RPM, 30 miles an hour. Again, smooth, not rattly, not vibey. Yeah, overall it's a fairly nice ride, to be honest. Dash is nice and clear. Yeah, so it pulls pretty nicely in a second now. Even from 40 miles an hour is safe. You hit the throttle hard and it's not shaking and vibrating like a lot of bikes can. Low RPM. You're in 6th gear at 30 miles an hour, it's not clattering around as well, which is good. Lovely and smooth.
After you. So, we've swapped bikes. Jamie is now on the Scram 411 and I'm on the Leoncino 800 Trail. And instantly, a lot of difference between this and that. The gear lever for one is in the right place for me. You can tell there's a lot more torque, obviously. It turns in very differently. You can feel it's heavier on the front end. You are higher up and the seat is harder, but it works. It's quite precise in the way it turns. You are sitting further forward on this. Yeah, it's got more go. You feel like you're in more of a race stance, and I wonder if it's the handlebars are slightly more forward for easier standing upage. The gears are, what should we say, heftier. As in, let me explain. They're light to use, but the bike clunks more into gear. I don't mean physically, I mean like it lurches into gear. It's not so smooth as the Scram 411. Have we got different modes here? Let me see. I don't know what I'm pushing there. Nothing seems to be happening, so I don't know. There may be more modes. Doesn't say there's any modes. Doesn't just say sport mode or anything like that. So maybe there isn't. But yeah, there's plenty more torque in 6th gear. I mean, changing down the gears is a dream. Ooh, it dips right into the corner there really well. Precision steering, that's what it's got. You find yourself counter steering it. If you're not quite sure what that is, look it up. There's videos on it. But yeah, I like this. Which do I prefer out of this and the Scram 411? Well, I have to say, the Scram 411 is nicer, it's more refined, and I can't believe I'm saying that about a Royal Enfield Himalayan Scram thingy. But it's more refined. This is more aggressive in its stance, in its gear changes. But obviously it's a lot more torquey and it's got a lot more power. Are we going to see a Himalayan 800, I wonder? This engine in the Himalayan would be awesome. Ah, interesting factoid. This pub here, the Bull's Head. Anyone who is into the Archers, and you're probably not, but anyone who's into the Archers, the radio drama on Radio 4, that pub there is the pub they refer to in the Archers. Isn't that interesting? Don't ask me how I know that. Anyway, back to the bike. Visibility on mirrors, absolutely brilliant. They've got it spot on with the stalk length and the mirror length. I can't see any arm at all I can see is road behind me. Works perfectly. Every single bike should have mirrors like this. Not the nonsense they tend to have. Right. Yeah, like this. Just say, when you go into a corner, it wants to pull you around the corner with ease. And you are leaning forward, so you're on your wrists a bit more on this, not so upright. But you are upright, but not as much as you are on the Scram 411. A little bit of juice if you want to give it some. In 6th gear. So that's the good thing about it, you don't need to change down. You're doing 50 mile an hour and you're waiting to overtake a slow moving 40 mile an hour car who does 40 everywhere. You just, and away you go. Good. Definitely got some poke. I did put it in the 5th just to see what it does, and it has got some poke. I've got a little bit of buffeting from the wind, not hugely, and as I say, it's a windy day today. Now, if if you remember, I owned for a short while the Leoncino, whatever you want to call it, 500 road bike. This feels like it's got more power, obviously, because it's an 800. Comfort-wise, the 500 was more comfortable, I feel. However, I don't want you to think, oh, well, this is uncomfortable, because it isn't. But this is designed for sort of a hybrid style riding. So you've got road and trail. See, you get into a corner and it really wants to drag you around the corner. You don't have to lean it much to pull you right into the corner. Obviously, once you get used to that, that's no problem at all. When I find myself having to correct myself a little bit on certain corners, see, that one's better. Instantly the power is there and off you go. It's a fun bike, I'll say that. It's quite effortless, rather enjoyable. If there's something I would change on this bike, I would say probably a little bit more comfort from the seat. Having said that, you know, I'm not numb, nothing hurts, nothing's digging in me. Perhaps it's just because I've got off that Scram 411 and that is uber soft. See lots of riders around today, lots of people doing off-road trails. Unfortunately, the reason why we're not doing trails at the moment, we'll mind the gravel on the road. The reason why we're not doing trails at the moment is because I just don't trust my ankle enough to be strong enough if I had to put my foot down. And stamping my foot down at the moment is not a good idea. It's still not 100%. It still hurts to walk. It's still uncomfortable to walk. I probably shouldn't be on a bike really, I should be resting it. I'll probably put myself back a bit, but hey ho, I am a biker after all. So, with that said, that's why we're not doing off-road. The other reason is the queues. We'll talk to you about that in a little while. But yeah, overall, a thoroughly pleasant ride. As I say, if I was to change anything apart from the seat, it would be maybe slightly smoother, slightly less aggressive gear change. But that's just for me. You know, I'm not horrendously bothered by it. I like the sound it's got. That parallel twin through that exhaust sounds nice. Sounds good. Here, if we give it a little bit of beans, oh, we can't, we're turning in. There's the Harley crew. Cyclists. Could be here a while. Right, get to see some other bikes, look. Harleys, BMWs. They're all BMWs, aren't they? Triumphs, which I'm hoping to ride this afternoon, but again, the queue is massive, and we'll talk to you about that shortly. Honda Africa Twin. Ooh, where are you going? These are the Harleys. It's the electric there, look. Electric Harley. The off-road trail does look fun. It doesn't look horrendous. I would love to do it. I just don't think it's a good idea. I have to be sensible about this. Right, MotoGP are taking us out on their sighting lap, which is nice. So it's just Phil, Jamie and myself. I'm going on the Himalayan Scram 411 and Jamie is going on the Trail 800. And Phil is on the TRK 502X, lovely looking bike that. Right, let's get moving. Quite a bit of interest in this. Be interesting to see what that's like. Now, if you recall, when we went on our trip last year, was it last year? Maybe the year before. Malcolm was on the Himalayan. Found it quite slow, to be honest. But I will put a but in there. We were using it only on road. It was the 400 with just a 20 something horsepower, and 70 miles an hour was pretty much its limit when we were all kitted up anyway. However, this 411 apparently has a new improved engine, and it'd be interesting to see the difference. I mean, I rode the 400 when we went on that trip, and yes, it was quite utilitarian and slow. However, for what it's designed for, off-road, a bit of Himalayan style riding, it was perfect. So as I was saying, I'm hoping this 411 Scram is going to be better than the Himalayan for on-road riding. Off-road, Himalayan's great at what it does. What I find interesting is that even on this short little ride, I've noticed just how comfortable and a little bit more sprightly it is. Okay, well, it definitely picks up better than the old Himalayan did. For me, the gear lever would need slightly adjusting. Good brakes. Surprised at how much better it pulls away than the old Himalayan. Much nicer ride. Very comfortable. Bar's very comfortable. Malcolm would love this. He liked the old Himalayan. He would love this. Decent visibility out of the mirrors. comfortable bars, easy to see, basic dashing. We've got the sat-nav thing on here, this one, with the Google direction. I haven't got it set up to my phone, so well, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than this. Still only 5 gears, not 6, but I don't think you need it. Still looks like it has good off-road capabilities. It's very windy today, so I apologise if there's lots of wind noise whistling through my helmet. Oh, very simple. Breezes through the corners there. So easy to ride. Oh, I do like this. I didn't like the other Himalayan. It was a bit too utilitarian for me, a bit slow. I'm not sure this is going to be much faster, but it just feels more sprightly, much more enjoyable. TRK 502X at the front there looks quite good. It's just, again, breezes around the corners. And these are sort of semi-off-road tyres, and you get no noise from the tyres, you get no knobbles from the tyres. It's certainly very good for road. No issues at all for the road. Just a couple of bumps in there and dips here, but it all seems pretty good. Suspension handles it very well. Very forgiving suspension. Good gear change, nice and positive, nice and easy. I'm still having to move my foot, mostly because of where the gear lever is, but also because I can't twist it as I usually can still. I've been walking about on my foot for a couple of days. Easy breezy. Just let Jamie come past me. Quite nice. The trail, the old Leoncino 500 was okay, but wasn't enough power for me, but it was powerful enough for what it was. Be interesting to hear Jamie's take on what the 800 was like, and whether the trail version is good on the road. I can't believe how soft this seat is. It's a travel for many miles without your arse hurting kind of seat. Oh no, it's 60 here and I'm still managing to pull away quite decently. If I can, and I find a spot, I might go for an overtake. If Jamie will let me. I've got a feeling he might not let me. Sitting at 30 in 4th gear, doing some revs, doesn't really matter. It sounds quiet, it sounds relaxed. Good job, Royal Enfield. When we get to a 60, it'll be interesting to see how much Jamie pulls away. And go. Yeah, he pulls away. But this is not far behind. You know, not like the old Himalayan. Rozzers. Got a lot more pull than the old Himalayan. Yeah, I do like this. Going for an overtake. Going for an overtake. Yay! Success! The gearing is just right on this as well. 40 mile an hour, quite happy to sit in fourth. It doesn't sound like it's screaming at all. Fifth gear feels a bit too high at 40 miles an hour. Yeah. Okay, the big question. Would I own the old Himalayan? No, not at all. Would I own the Himalayan Scram 4-on-1? Yes, I would. And the reason for that is because it is so much better. It rides much nicer, doesn't feel as utilitarian. Oh, hello, Doctor Who's box. Almost. That's the TARDIS, by the way, if you didn't know. And yeah, it pulls decently, unlike the old Himalayan. What is it with people that do 40 miles an hour wherever you are? You're in a 40, they do 40. You're in a 50, they do 40. You're in a 60, they do 40. Go into a 30, they do 40.
So yeah, on the Himalayan 411. Definitely tell the power difference between this and the Leoncino. This also doesn't seem to have much engine brake, if any. Only 5 gears on this. Easy to ride. I do like the seat on this. Initial feel, I mean, I know I haven't been riding it long, but it does feel comfy and soft. As your bum squishes into it, it sort of hugs around your bum. On now in fifth, and it's not rattling itself to bits, so it's getting nice and smooth on the low revs. Yeah, but I mean, what an easy ride this is. Oh, I feel light when I'm flicking it about, that's for sure. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Oh yeah, so handling wise, obviously this is just that much more lighter than the Leoncino, definitely on the ride feel anyway, which makes it lovely. yeah, I mean, my only criticism probably could be do with just a few more horsepower, just to make it a bit more livelier when you do want to have a bit of fun. But other than that, as a general bike, it's alright. So full throttle and 50 to 40, up to 60. It's not fast, but for a nice leisurely ride, absolutely ideal. It feels nicer to ride than the original Himalayan, but however, I think the only time I rid the Himalayan is when we had it with full luggage on it, so it probably felt a bit heavier in that retrospect up on the top. Mark to go ahead so I can actually test these brakes out. Get up to 60 and slow down a little bit. Nice. Yeah, I suppose my only criticism against it was just it could do with a little bit more punch, but yeah, that's probably a personal preference rather than anything else. But I think that was the only thing I didn't like about the original one. There's plenty of torque there, it's just doesn't give you the feeling of any urgency really. However, it's not that type of bike, I suppose. So, what do I think about this overall? Overall, it's a nice little bike. If you want a plodder, it's a thing to buy. However, you want to accelerate hard or have bags of torque, maybe this is needing a little bit more. Other than that, it's comfy, it's smooth, it's really light, you know, feel when you're riding the bike, so flicking about is lovely. Just missing a few horsepower for me really. Other than that, it's an easy bike to ride.
Okay, so I am now going out on the Ducati Multistrada V2S 900cc. I'm sure they're 900. Jamie later is going out on the V4. So these are keyless. It's got the start button on there. You flick that up and click the start button on there. It's very smooth, it's very quiet so far. It's low seat height. I am flat-footed on this. It's very comfortable. Well, I mean, it is Ducati, what would you expect? Yeah. Quiet, I'll give it that. Again, brand new machine, of course it's quiet. So these have got a quick shift up and down, so we'll give that a play whilst we're out on the road. You've got cruise control on here, various different modes. Let's see what we've got on the menu here. Look at that gear. No. See, it doesn't matter what bike you got, even the expensive ones are trouble getting in neutral. So we've got different menus on here. Range. Oh, lovely. Yeah, too much to play with. Suspension settings. So, out on the Ducati Multistrada V2S. All these bikes have got Italian plates, so they must have brought them over from Italy. I'm hoping I haven't messed my camera up and I'm not talking to myself, but it seemed to stop. I thought I was waiting for someone, so to save the battery I turned the camera off, and then they turned up and we were literally off then. So I turned my camera on and nothing seemed to happen for quite a while. I'm hoping it's alright. I think I can see that it's filming. Very sharp brakes. There's a lot of cyclists out here. It's a nice smooth quick shifter. Very nice. Brakes are very sharp. I'm not getting much buffeting. This front screen seems to do its job rather well. The seat, very, very comfortable. But not that I expect anything less from a Duke. In comparison to my Triumph Explorer, it's a hell of a lot lighter. It feels like I need to be down in the gears. Gear shift is very easy, very light. Good visibility out of the mirrors. Apparently gives a little blip when you change down a gear. Great pickup. Currently in touring mode. I wonder if I can change that. I don't know what does what. Heated grips on this. Enter mode, let's try these. Reset, no. I do feel as though I'm being pushed forward on the seat a bit. And it feels a little bit snatchy on the acceleration. Up so easily. Obviously it doesn't feel anywhere near as heavy as my Triumph Explorer. Very easy to use. Simple ride, that's what I'll say. A very simple ride. I'm in 6th gear doing 55 miles an hour. Just over 3,500 RPM. Not a lot of RPMs at all. Very blustery, but I don't feel it a lot. so I'm going to be behind the slowest. Yeah, it wasn't a good idea, mate. If I was to describe this bike, I would have to say effortless. It's got enough power, it handles superbly, it's easy to ride, it's comfortable apart from the fact that I think the seat tilts forward a bit, so it pushes you into the tank. I'm not a fan of that. Do I prefer it over my Triumph Explorer? Definitely not. Definitely not. The Triumph Explorer is a beast, and I don't mean beast as in fast necessarily. I mean, it is quick enough, you just don't feel how quick it is. And the other thing with the Triumph Explorer is that yes, it's heavy, but when you're riding it you don't feel that weight. This feels as though it does everything really easily. Just a bit dull, but not exciting. Well, it's a Ducati, it does everything superbly, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't boil the fire in my loins. There's no fizz factor. And it could be because I'm stuck doing slow speeds. I will say, when the wind hits you, it doesn't move you. It's so planted. So it's an easy bike to ride. You know, I would say even a newbie to riding and their first big bike, it is ideal. It's got everything you want. So simple and enough power. Which shift up and down is brilliant. Love that. What can I say? I'm not disappointed. dash is quite easy to see. I don't know how to get a touring mode, I'm sure there's a way. What if I hold it? If I hold it. Oh, hello, there we go.
So we are about to start my test ride on the Ducati Multistrada V4. So just doing this is lovely and smooth. I like the seating position on this. My weight of my arms don't seem to hang so much like on some of the other bikes I've ridden today. The seat's soft and comfy. Definitely got some punch, that's for sure. This is nice. I am liking it. Loving the quick shifter and the downshifter. Lots of information on the dash. Nice clear mirrors. I'll tell you what, it is flickable. It feels lovely and light. Loads of punch. Tell you what, the quick shift is so smooth on the up gears as well. This is nice, I like it. Not my type of bike, but I'm liking this. A bit frumpy on the low revs in the high gear, but apart from that, it's lovely and smooth. Loads of grunt coming out of the corners. Can't believe such a big machine, how light it feels on the road. And I mean, for my height, the screen, I still get quite a lot of wind noise from the buffering from the screen. I don't know if it's just adjustable, I'll have to look into that. Must admit, it's quite breezy today, a bit of side winds gusting, but doesn't seem to be affecting the bike that much. Suspension on this is firm but supple at the same time. Must admit, this is a nice ride. I'll tell you one thing I didn't know about this is on the mirrors on these they have these little lights to warn you when someone's in your blind spot, which I think is great, especially if you're out riding as a group. Well, that's the end of my ride. I mean, what a fantastic machine, don't get me wrong. It's not cheap, but handles lovely, it's comfortable, it has all the power you can want. Fantastic machine. All the gizmos, quick shifter, downshift blipper. I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean that's, you know, got plenty of power, and that's in touring mode. I didn't even try the sport mode. So Ducati Multistrada V4S, bags of power, comfortable, feels light as a feather when you're out riding it. Enjoyed that ride very much.